Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. You see me? That must mean and affirms that God really, really, really loves you. And because I keep thinking that the video before now was the last one, and I keep coming back because you haven't accepted any of the things that I have said as facts, and God haven't given up on you. And because I know God and I am obedient to God, I stand back here thinking that I was done, but no, I'm not. God didn't turn you loose, and I didn't turn God loose. So here I am to talk to you again. Today I want to talk to you about Hurricane Dorian. You know, everything that takes place, truly, if you pay any attention to it, there is a profound message in it, in everything. And it is no less accurate with this hurricane, Dorian. Now, we know that this hurricane, like all hurricanes, will displace a lot of people. It will affect almost every ethnic culture and representation. Wherever the storm takes place, it'll do it to the poor, and it will do to the well-to-do. Now, no doubt, when you look at this situation, who needs help? Seriously. It's a question that seems to be redundant, but actually, the question still stands. Who needs help? Is it these people, these victims, or those that were spared the curse of the storm? Should anyone be denied due to the lack of money? If materials are available, if the expertise is there, if the labor is there, but no money, should this effect or this effort be denied because no money is available? Well, the volunteers say, no, it should not be denied because they jump in, not thinking of money. You see, this is real, and it should not stop here, what these volunteers do. All people in need of help, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, should receive it. And only the inability to help is the only justification for no help. This is applicable to the poor of any country, including those of the borders seeking help and asylum. Now, you know that doesn't happen. I don't care what I've just said. Most of you who believed it in the before believe it, and those of you who never believed it still don't believe it. And many of you might ask, how can this be done? Well, the natural order, my friends, it's God's way of doing things. It is the way of peace. It is the way of justice and freedom. It is the way of prosperity and joy. It is the way of the fulfillment of dreams. My. No money necessary unless a scam is being perpetuated. Now, I keep saying these things to you, ladies and gentlemen. I know I cannot get you to believe them just because I say them. I know I can't. So, for those of you who ask, why do I keep doing it? I keep doing it because I have been given time and space to keep doing it. I keep doing it because it is my job to do it, not to make you. That can only happen if you are ready. And I can only stand before you and keep doing it if I'm real. But there is another profound message about Hurricane Dorian, and I'd like to see if I can relate it to you here. Many of you are familiar with something that happened long time ago. Neither of us were here. And many don't even think the story is true. But be it true or not, you remember the flood. That was a time when everything was wiped out. The flood. Some people say, well, couldn't have been enough to cover the whole earth. I ask you, you turn the earth over on its axis a little bit to see if the ocean couldn't flood the earth. I think you would agree that it could. So, if I might be able to use this scenario, I'd like to do it. If you destroy all that exists, all that has been made at the hands of man, by something like Dorian. This is to bring our focus to the flood. If you don't believe that the flood exists, if you're living today, you know that Hurricane Dorian is taking place, and it has destruction. There's much damage. Well, what are you the people to do? Even if a flood, even if something like this happened and wiped out everybody and everything that man has been doing, what are the people to do? You look at the situation and all of the resources that God has ever provided, and I say God because you know you didn't provide the resources. They still exist. They still remain. All of the resources still remain. The need exists, just like in those places where hurricane is doing its damage today. Those needs still remain. And if the whole earth was wiped out of all mankind's actions and adventures and manifestations, and people remain, then there would be a need. So, the resources remain, a need exists. The expertise and the labor is all available. But there's one thing included with all those things that made at the hand of man that is gone. That other thing is money. Now, the damage has been done. The resources remain. The need continues to exist. The expertise and the labor is available, but there's no money. What do you do? What do you do? No one owns anything. No one got any money. The question becomes, do you do what is natural? Or do you just do nothing? Or do you do what Putin and Trump would do? Well, what is the difference between? As you do what is natural, you would be just like the volunteers. Everybody would engage themselves in meeting the needs. And the most basic needs at that time is food and clothing and shelter, not even education at that point in time. Education will be essential a little bit later on when you try to expand, and if some of the people who had the expertise are no more. So education is always beneficial. But first you want food and shelter and clothing. That's what you want. And then later, it'll come about, no doubt, quick. You'll need health care. And you got the doctors and the medical professions, everybody's here, all the education people are here, all the house builders and all the people that makes clothes and all the farmers and everybody that has ever done anything to make this a place where the needs of the people are met, they still exist. The resources are here. Now, as a volunteer, based upon your need and your knowing that everybody else can aid one another in the manifestation and the creation of all those things that have been destroyed, you would engage yourself right in and in no time flat. It might take some time, all of those things that were destroyed would be available to you again. And every last one of you who engaged in whatever particular thing that you did, everybody benefits from that particular thing that you did. And so everybody that is in existence benefits from the work of the people. And so the work that was done by the people belonged to the people. The benefit of the work that was done for the people belonged to the people. That's the natural order. And since this happens this way, there would be peace amongst the people. There would be freedom amongst the people. Why? Because there's been justice. There would be joy of the engagement of your particular gifts. Man, oh man. And because you adhere to that, your dreams would be met. But you know what? Then comes along a Putin and a Trump. Now, do you know what their role would be? First of all, they would try to find some way to confiscate and take from you as much as they possibly can as their own. Then they would pass some kind of laws to justify what they did and to make it legitimate what they did. And while doing that, making some other laws to add to that to prohibit anybody else from doing it, as if they are trying to protect you from thieves. And the thieves have already done their thing. So they're coming up with a scam to rip you off right after you've done what you've done. And because you have trusted everybody around you, everybody has played a role, you end up trusting these people, thinking that they got something that would add to your benefit. All these scammers are something else, especially people like Putin and Trump. And the next thing you know, you will have those who got and those that don't. You would have crime and violence because some would have nothing left. And then for this to happen, you would have lying, you would have cheating, you would have terror, you would even create stuff for murder, and soon there would be war. So ladies and gentlemen, what this message from Hurricane Dorian can connect you with the flood, can connect you to the beginning of time before men even existed on this earth. And coming upon this earth having certain necessities for survival, and recognizing from that and something that is in you that allows you to know that something must be done in order for you to survive, that calls you to reach out and discover what is available for you to use in order to meet your needs. And you do this and you cause these things to exist. That's the story of life. And the other part, somebody comes along and trick you to believe that some, regardless of what the participation was, regardless of who the volunteers were, convince you that some of you are more important than the rest of you, and that you deserve what others don't, that you're more special and superior to others. That's how they get you. And then they come up with a scam because of what they have taken called money. And in order for people to survive with those things that they had not too long ago, freedom of, liberty too, now they got to pay for it. Because they bought into a lie that those that go along with them support. I heard a man today being interviewed on YouTube who said that Donald Trump has never lied. He doesn't lie. And every last one of you know that he does. And yet polls indicate that 40% of this population doesn't care whether he lies or not. Well, you know, anytime you are in a situation where 40% of the people don't care, that means you are 40% in hell. 40% in hell. And if you, the 60% that stands above with your face up, if you don't recognize what's going on, you're going to be just like China, 100% in hell. You're going to be just like Russia, 100% in hell. And ladies and gentlemen, just like you got 40% in America that think that everything that Trump does is okay, just like you think it, God wants you to know, if you don't change it while you can, you will be just like that. And if you think, well, let's give him a little bit more time, let's give him a little bit more time, the more power that they get, then you will be just like me. One man standing up against this whole nation trying to tell you that God made heaven for you if you would receive it. And you don't believe it. So if you wait till it's done, it's done. And unless a flood truly comes and wipe you all out, you have no hope. Except one. And that is changing and refusing to release your power to a demon. And then you're going to die. And as far as I can see, that just might be your graduation from this university of hell into a brand new life. I want to thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that I have been able to point out something to those of you who've been blessed in the rest of the country that did not have to go through this great hurricane. And I hope that you use this for your sake, for my sake, and God gets the glory while your dreams are made real. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.